Okay, so I am here with Norma Jean Gradsky. This is our fourth podcast together, and as you all presumably know, Norma Jean is a very talented actress and voiceover artist with whom I've done extensive work, and with whom I'm going to do a lot of work in the future. Uh,
And
diff-
now podcaster.
oh yeah, and now podcaster. Yeah. Oh, good, good, good,
I
good, good,
feel
good.
like we're doing the morning drive time show.
Well, yeah, I don't see why we could not. And I mean, again, I don't mean to sound like Ebenezer Scrooge here, but there is, at least theoretically, there's money in podcasting. But and why not? And so let me give my listeners, a very distinguished crowd of people, by the way, from all over the world. Let me give my listeners a little bit of background here. So as you guys may know, I applied to this business program recently, and I was accepted with funding, which was very good. And and then I started to and so they asked me some questions on the application. I answered those questions, and then I was accepted. I became very sort of heartened, and so then I started, I started thinking a little bit more like a businessman, and so now I'm kind of looking for opportunities. And at first, I really didn't know where to begin, but then I started seeing opportunities, especially in connection with my voiceover work and in connection with the people who I've had occasion to work with in connection with my voiceover work. And one thing about voiceover artists, about the people I've met through ACX, is that in addition to being talented, they also, I think, are rather pure of heart. They're kind of good people. They're not cynical people. Um, and they are open. When I was dealing with professors, they were not open. They were very closed. But the voiceover people have a kind of sort of unjaundiced view of reality. Anyway, so today I thought we would discuss, my business idea. This is the one that I'm going to actually. This is the one that was actually formally approved by the University of Wisconsin Business School, and then we're going to discuss maybe a couple of ideas and then we're going to discuss maybe some thoughts that Norma Jean has concerning my ideas, or concerning her own ideas, or concerning something intermediate between the two. Does that work for you, or no?
Yes. Yeah, I'm excited about it. It's been really interesting. It's interesting watching someone as yourself, a highly esteemed academic, you know, obviously, uh, obviously exceptional, and then, to switch gears to the business world. So it's interesting. I mean, and it's almost endearing to hear you say that you're going to school, with all of your education and degrees and experience. And it's like, I'm going back to school. And you were so excited to be admitted and that your proposal was accepted. And it really is endearing. Um, Lifetime learners, although you're a young man, but
Not not that young. Yeah.
you would think with your accomplishments that you'd sit on them, but it's fun, isn't it, to turn a new leaf?
Well, it is, and I think that there's some sense of which I'm accomplished, but I think there may have been something that I was trying to accomplish through all my thought, through all my work in that area, and it turns out I was not able to accomplish it. I mean, I thought that I could kind of conquer the world by writing a lot of books. Not a bad idea, good idea, but a false idea, as it turns out. I mean, I think that a lot of good came of it, but now it's time for phase two, right? I mean, now it's time for me to convert these kind of precepts and theorems and abstract profundities into something kind of real. I mean, I don't want the sum total of my life to consist of a lot of deracinated abstract ideas. I mean, they have to feed back into the world, right? Otherwise, there's ink marks on a moldering book in some library, So
And
this is sort of a continuation well, it's definitely a continuation. The other thing is that the kind of business I'm going to be doing, right? It's um, I mean, it's going to be a continuation of when I first went into business. When I first struck out on my own as an entrepreneur, I tried to do something that had no continuity with what I had previously done, and the result was that I lost $50,000, or I basically just I made no money.
mm,
Um, and so I made no money, and then and partly at the suggestion of my girlfriend, I realized that I had to sort of do something that was continuous with what I had been doing all along. So I'm not completely, but yes, I'm a lifelong learner. That is true. That is true, and I am excited about it. It makes me feel, and actually, I mean, I don't know what the hell I look like, but I really I feel young. I may look like an old man, but that's not how I feel. Anyway, but all right. So what do we? Now I'm being a little incoherent. Okay, so here are the questions. The first question. Now, Norma, have you heard the podcast where I discuss my business ideas or not?
No.
Okay, so I'll just go ahead and read them. Uh, okay, so here's the first question on the application. Okay, so these are the questions I sent you, Norma. So, what is your business idea? Include products or services? Okay, here's my answer. I will be offering live, online, one-on-one instruction to high-level scholars and professionals who speak English with functional fluency, but not with professional fluency. For example, suppose that person X, a native speaker of Korean, is a brilliant lawyer who speaks English with functional fluency, meaning that his English is good enough for him to perform day-to-day tasks, but whose English is not nearly good enough for him to write convincing briefs or to express complex legal concepts. Person X needs someone who not only speaks English with native fluency, but can speak it well enough for X's purposes. Person X needs someone whose intellectual level and training are that of a college professor. This is the service that I will personally provide, and as my business grows, I will find others to join me in providing it. Um, yeah, so any thoughts, or should I just continue?
No, I think well suited. And my thoughts are well suited and a service that is needed. It's a good niche. It really
I,
is.
I really hope you mean that because I
I,
really hope it works.
I, it is a good niche. Um, I have, I don't have the data, but certainly with our global world, that that's redundant. But certainly, and with English becoming the main language of
Right,
business,
that's right.
it's got to be it's got to hit a nerve.
I,
Hmm,
I I think
okay,
so. Go
I
ahead.
think so. Okay, that's all.
No, no, yeah, no. Actually, what immediately precipitated this idea was because I am teaching ESL. I work through this agency, and I was one of my students is actually getting a law degree in Korea. He's a smart guy, but and if you spoke with him, you'd think, oh well, this guy's English is just fine. What's the problem? But he says, look, when he actually tries to do legal work in English, it just doesn't work. And he's really screwed. And I said, and then I came up with his idea, and I said, look, I'm coming up with a service, and he's like, oh well, that's great. How do I sign on? And I said, well, it's not going to be for another year. Sorry, buddy, but the point is that, and a lot, when I was in grad school, I knew people who were, if you were just talking with them, you'd think, oh, well, this guy's fluent in English was the problem, but they would fail their assignments because it's one thing to speak English with kind of street fluency. It's a different thing to perform in high level contexts, and that was kind of what struck me. Now, I'm just going to zip through the remaining. I won't read all of my answers, okay, but I'll just zip through the rest of the application. So, who is the customer to whom you are selling? My customers will be high-level professionals and scholars, lawyers, executive professors, for whom English is a second language and who speak English with reasonable fluency, but not with a degree of precision and range, etc., etc. Okay. Okay, now why will people buy your products or services? What makes your idea special? There are several things that make my idea special. First, there's an enormous demand for it. Uh, okay, blah blah. Okay, I think that's pretty much it. So I think you kind of get the idea.
I
Now,
imagine when you get in school, they will ask you to run the numbers about your enormous demand. I
yes,
don't know how you would do that, but
neither do I, but they do, right?
yeah, right.
They do. Well, and I can think of another way, which is that you and I were talking about this, which is that I mean, what investment banks do is they are. What I want to do is develop this idea in a really big way, and then go to an investment bank, right? I mean, that's what Sam Zuckerberg did, or whatever, right? So he had an idea, but then when you need real funding for something really big, you have to go to an investment bank, and they do a lot of their activities have to do with market research. I mean, that's what they do, right? And they will know all about it. I mean, they personally will have people at the investment bank who fall into this category, you know.
Hmm,
So
that's handy.
yeah, I mean, I can't. I mean, like the program doesn't start until the 13th of October, so that's a lot of dead time. Now, what would a real businessman do in that time? Would he just wait? No, I think he would try to do something, right? Um, so yeah, but that's what they do. I mean, that's I mean, they do an enormous amount of economic research, market research. That's why they're there. Um, so now, yeah, now, okay. Now I sent
But
you
that
some.
would
Go ahead.
pertain.
Go ahead.
I know in the last decade, I guess I've heard or read a lot about um, uh, technical professionals,
Uh-huh.
in the tech world in Silicon Valley, coming from India and um, other Asian countries. And so I guess there's a lot of statistics there. And I would imagine that might be a necessary um, skill for them to have as well.
It might well be. I mean, but it is a big world. I mean, there are 8 billion people on the planet, and I don't need. I mean, how many customers do I need? I mean, how many clients do you need for a? I mean, see here's okay. Here's the reasoning here, which is that let's say you're a smart person in China, okay, and or India, right? And let's suppose that you're not an engineering guy. You're a history professor or something, right? You're kind of an intellectual or something. Now, here's the thing, which is that if you go to an ESL service, an English as a second language service, right? I mean, you'll talk with somebody who graduated from college, right? And who will be, pretty okay at teaching you kind of fifth grade level English, right? But that's not going to be enough for you, right? I mean, there've got to be a lot of people who there are going to be a lot of people who I mean, even undergraduates who fall into this kind of no man's land between remedial English on the one hand and complete and total fluency on the other, and that's sort of where I would. That's what. That's where I would come in. I don't know.
I understand.
Yeah.
I, I see the section you're targeting. I do.
Yeah. Well. I mean, we'll see. Look, I'm obviously a little insecure about it, but we'll see. So, but now, Norma, I sent you similar questions. Would you like to talk about those, or how? Would what would you like to discuss right now?
Yes. Well, my questions are.
Yes.
Well, my business is. Um, I guess my focus right now is just voiceover. I just decided to focus,
Okay.
because there's so many avenues, to take it, for the big money, as you say, or
Right.
for decent money. But since I started my journey in voiceover, I have to prove it to myself. So, what is my
Prove what to
business? I
yourself? Prove what?
to make it. Okay, I'm going to digress, but
Yes.
and being an actor from a young age,
Okay.
and deciding to major in it in college, and getting all the flack from your parents or whatever, I ended up having to pay my own way because I
Jesus.
just said, no, you
Wow.
can't major in drama. What are you going to do with it? Maybe you encountered that with philosophy, but so how are you going to make a living at that? And I didn't. I didn't. Economic. I couldn't pay the rent. I moved to San Francisco, auditioned, had some great opportunities, but I still had to pay my rent.
Right.
And I so it went by the wayside. Now after my um, work life, and the last part of it was teaching, as they say, those who can't do teach. I feel a little guilty of that. So this seems like my chance to. I want to make it. I want to make a living doing this. So
Right. And
so
first of all,
it,
you're good at it, and you have a
and,
track record. Go ahead.
and I'm okay. Have to work from home. So this is the deal. What is your business idea? Include products and services. To become a consistently earning voice artist
Good.
as a freelancer from home, making 50 grand my first year. They say to be specific in your goals. My
Okay.
services are voice narration, voicing and characterizing audiobooks, corporate narrations, and e-learning voiceovers.
Well, this
Who's
is
the
good.
customer? Okay, specific, right?
Yeah,
Uh,
sure is. Yeah.
who's the customer and what are you selling? Customers include authors, publishers of ebooks. I'm selling them a vibrant, creative oral interpretation of their work. E learning customers are corporations who make their training videos in house to be determined, as well as e-learning production companies. I sell them my expertise in teaching and explanations in a lively, engaging, intelligent, authoritative, confident manner.
Wow, this is good, man.
That's, yeah. What makes me special and why will they buy me as above? Training, experience, talent, professionalism, high quality work, timeliness, quick turnaround, diligence. What makes me think I'll be successful? I've got the talent. I have the experience, the whole life experience. I'm dedicated and I have drive. Education and previous experience. I've got it. Um, Academically, the BA's in theater, the master's is in communication.
Oh,
So,
okay. You actually have a master's in communication. So, and this is one of the very few contexts in which that degree is of use.
you, a philosophy guy, attacking the communication discipline.
Well,
Attack the theater discipline and education.
no, education is terrible. Are you kidding? Yeah.
They had it so easy.
I know that's a
Uh,
crock. Yeah, but
uh,
that goes without saying.
Theory, communication theory and analysis is a very viable and respectable discipline.
Right.
So,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. No, I think so.
Sorry, I'm
Okay.
joking with
No.
you.
Oh. Okay. Well, I don't know.
Don't know.
Okay. So, all right. Now, wait a second. Now, something sort of. All right. Well, that is damn good. Now,
Is it good?
yeah, it is good actually. Now, something occurred to me though, which is that so there are going to be a lot of people who suppose you have some sort of wealthy executive who kind of wants to tell his story, you
Mm.
know, and he not only wants the story to be so he wants it to be he needs two things. He needs he needs somebody to kind of help him write it, and then he needs somebody to narrate it. And I don't know. It seems to me that like that could be kind of a niche for you. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm
Well, yes, I'd be open to it. Um, um, how many of these rich executives that want their
yeah.
autobiography?
Okay. Yeah. That's
Doc- Dr. K, when you go
yes.
to business school,
Yes. Yes.
they're gonna they're go- they're going to give you hell with some of your ideas.
Yeah, they sure will. They sure. Okay, that was a bit of. I did not think there. Okay, I did not.
No, I don't. I no. Keep thinking. You've got to brainstorm. No, but no. Some of them, yeah. So maybe there are two executives. That,
Yeah. Okay. All right. All right.
all right.
Now,
I'll
here's
save my.
the question I would have, which is, so how are you going to get people? Well, I guess this. Okay. Well, I guess this is why you would go to business school. But how are you going to get people to know that you're there?
Oh, I know. I've been doing as much self study at home with marketing, and it's that distasteful thing. I'm not going to do much social media. I have to do some, but I'm not going to do much. Um, how do you get to know? We've discussed in previous podcasts about the, services available that you pay to play.
Right.
Um, and then more and more, I find, especially the established voiceover artists, are just drumming up their own business with their own self marketing. So, trying to learn their techniques and um,
How do they do it? What do they do?
um, okay,
How do you self market? I would like
how
to
do
know.
they self market? How do they drum up
Yeah.
their own business? Um, First of all, select your niche. So, if I wanted, well, audiobooks, I use the ACX exchange to audition for audiobooks. So, audiobook narrators also make personal connections with publishers and producers, and in house. ACX isn't the only one that produces, and to get on their rosters as a narrator that they would, choose or be open for work. Having an agent also does your marketing for you. Um, so that's audiobooks. But, I'm at a complete loss as to It's just going to take research to find the publishers, producers, um, uh, to get on their rosters. Um, for other types of voiceover work that pay well, reaching out, e-learning is a big genre. So finding public, there are houses, there are businesses that all they do is produce e-learning um, videos for their clientele, or trying to fish out the clientele themselves and find the decision maker in that company and reach out to them and send them your demo and ask if you can be put on their personal rosters.
All right. Well, now I'm gonna have to go pretty soon myself, Norma. So obviously, this is this is one of many podcasts in a long, long series. But let's so okay. So I'd like to kind of go through some of your credentials here. Okay, so if you would like to listen to Norma's work, which I urge you to, okay, because it's very, very good, and there's going to be a lot more coming out. Okay, so here's what I have for you. Now, let me know if this list is incomplete. So these are the things that are on Amazon and on Audible.com. So there's Michael Lewis's Flash Boys, a Wall Street Revolt summary. Uh, and then there's The Butterfly Dress, which is a really good one. There's A Priori Knowledge, a dialogue by me. There's Analytic versus Formal Truth, a dialogue by me, J.M. Kaczynski. Proof that we have non-empirical knowledge by me, and Kant's Ethics by me. That's a very substantial book. And then Summary of Gretchen Rubin's Better Than Before. Oh, this is interesting. What I learned about making and breaking habits. So those are the ones that you have out there. Is there something I missed? Uh,
A new one is just being released. It's Simon Sebag Montefiore's The Romanovs. And,
really?
well, it's the summary.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the
Wow.
summary of his tome of a book.
Wow.
And that'll probably be out in a couple of weeks.
Oh, wow. So that's Simon Montefiore, or what's the name again?
Simon Sebag Montefiore.
Okay,
He's
his
a British journalist, and
he did a
um,
biography of Stalin. Is that him?
mm, I'm not sure. I think his last one, mostly Russian history, so probably so. And then I think his last one that was produced on the BBC was Jerusalem.
Okay, yeah. Oh, Simon Sebag Montefiore. Yeah, yeah, him. Wow, wow.
And this is no, I'm not working for him. It's a summary.
No, no,
That's
I understand. I
yeah,
understand. I understand. I
yeah.
understand. You're doing these summaries, but still, that's something. And how did you enjoy that? Tell me about that.
Oh, I really enjoyed it. Again, gravitating towards things that interest me. I really enjoyed it. Um, and I'd like to read the entire 700 page tome. I think it was six. I can't remember, but it's I, the
No,
summary
uh,
piqued my interest to read the entire book, and I think that's the purpose.
right. And could you, unfortunately, let's see, is this already in? Now, is this the Romanov 1613 to 1918?
Yes, their
Okay.
300-year rule.
Okay, so it's unfortunately that one is already taken by Simon Beale. But now tell me about this Gretchen Rubin's Better Than Before. What is that about? Because this sounds interesting. Making and breaking habits. I need to learn more about that.
Again, this is a summary of her best-selling book, and it's kind of a formulary that she's come up with of the importance in making and breaking habits. And the summary enumerates them quite succinctly for you.
Yes, and did you learn anything from that particular book about making and breaking habits, which is a deeply important topic, especially to people like me who are making a midlife career change?
Um,
Oh gosh.
I hate to answer,
Oh,
honestly.
okay, 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 okay. All right.
No,
No, I think
I know. Although it was interesting, it's habits. I have a lot of bad ones, and so I really didn't glean anything new from it.
no. That's good.
But
That's
I
good.
think a lot of people would. It's just I've done a study of it myself. So
Oh, you mean you've done a study of books about breaking habits, or you have? done a study of this particular book?
I've done a study of breaking habits.
Oh, tell me about that. This is interesting. I don't.
Well, no, not a published
No,
study,
no, I
just
know, but an informal one. What did you learn?
right. Um, to start small, repetition, to replace bad habits with good ones. Um, uh, really, I don't know. I hate to
No,
say,
these are important points.
well, they're important points, but they're also common sense.
I don't know that. I don't think they're common knowledge. I mean, I think
Oh,
a lot
so
of
they're
people throw.
not.
Yeah.
Taking it in small chunks. Maybe I know it's common knowledge from being a lifelong dieter. I've always been on a diet. Replacing, taking it in small chunks. A small change can result in a large change over time. Um, taking it, replacing bad habits with good ones. Instead of rewards, the reward system's not so great for changing your habits,
Oh,
but
okay.
replacing a bad habit with a good one.
Can you give me an
Can,
example of that? I like this. This is not trivial to me. These are actually
oh,
kind of new.
okay. I need water.
Okay. All
I
right.
noticed in my last diatribe, I need water.
Get
Um,
some water. Get some water.
so an example.
No, just take your time. Get some water. I'll you know. Do 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 do.
I'm back.
Oh, that was fast.
Uh, I'm drinking Perrier. It's like the champagne of water.
That's good stuff. That's good
It
stuff.
is
That's
good
good stuff.
stuff. I had a coupon. I got a six pack.
Oh, hey, excellent, excellent.
um,
I like to wash Perrier down with a little Jim Beam.
perfect,
Yeah,
perfect. I know it's a real
yeah,
treat.
yeah.
Um, the what? Oh, taking it in small chunks. Is that
Mhm.
where I was?
I think I was asking about
Yeah.
the replacing bad habits with good ones because you said the reward
Um.
system doesn't
Oh,
work.
and this takes a discipline. There's discipline behind it. But so say your bad habit. I'm going with dieting. I'm at work at my desk, and it's uh, lunchtime, and they're serving burritos in the cafeteria.
Okay.
So, a good habit would be to grab an apple and walk around the building 3 times, and and do that consistently. If there's bad food available, and my habit would be just to grab it, knock it down at my desk. Would be to pick up your apple and take a walk around the building. So replace that consistently till your good habit becomes your good behavior becomes a good habit.
Okay.
Um, and over time it does. Let's see. She outlines certain types, character types.
Oh, tell me about this. This is interesting.
I know, but I wish you would. I need to review it.
Oh, nonsense.
But uh,
You're reviewing it right now in front of the whole world.
okay.
Don't. I only have 75,000 listeners. You're not. It's
Uh,
nothing to be
I
embarrassed
know
about.
the stress of this, trying to
Yeah.
remember. Um,
Take your
so
time.
the character types, or the types of people, people that are um, self-influenced and have lots of discipline, innately. Um, Much easier for them to change their habits. The people that rely on other people to tell them what to do, the pleasers,
Oh, oh,
are more likely to change their habits if they have like a partner or a buddy, in crime. So a
right.
diet buddy for me to tell me to what to do. I would perform better. There's a third one that I can't remember. The last one is the rebel, who just
Wow. I like
the
this.
rebels, like, forget, everything. Anybody trying to tell me what to do or what to think, I'm going my own road.
Yeah, that's me.
And so kind of difficult to change habits for the rebel.
Well, wait. Can the rebel change his own habits, or does the rebel just become kind of like a chronic loser?
No, the rebel too may change, but he's got to know that it's, he can't come from above or anyone's dictum. It's got to be his own idea in his own way, and more power to him.
How is the rebel? So the rebel is kind of a contrarian, but how's that guy different from the first personality type. The first one was the self motivator or something.
Well, um, the rebel, I would say, would be self-motivated as well by his. I'm trying to remember the framework that she put this in. I apologize. It hasn't even been that
No,
long
it's
since I
okay. It's
looked
okay.
at it.
It's all right.
But,
This is not a test. This is not an
but
exam.
I feel like I have memory lapse,
Oh, who cares?
so I
Doesn't matter.
can't really,
No, that's actually a lot of information. I'll tell you what. I mean, okay. So, for example, one thing I've had to do a lot, especially in the last 6 months, and I've had to do it because if I didn't do it, there would be very real, very, very, very bad consequences. Not just sort of like a slightly large waistline. I mean real consequences. One thing I had to do was just take a step, like take a first step. And what I found was that if you just take that first step, um, then more steps follow, and then it becomes a thing unto itself. But if you see things in terms of extremes, in other words, if you tell yourself, "Oh, I won't do anything unless it'll be a big thing," then you end up just being paralyzed. So the sort of start small is important.
right, taking the things in small chunks. Exactly.
And then what happens, see, is that here's kind of the principle underlying all the things you said, which is that you change these habits by changing yourself. You have to retrain yourself. Like if everything, so if you actually have to change yourself. That's how you change the habits, right? If you insist on being the same person but just having slightly different behaviors, nothing's going to happen. But if you kind of reprogram yourself, then things do happen. And that's kind of something I discovered today, which is that if it's if you're trying to accomplish new things and you conceive of it in terms of doing new things, then you're conceiving of it as something that's inherently very hard. But if you conceive of it, but the way it should be is this, which is that you have to really become somebody for whom those things are natural, and then it's no longer about doing something. It's no longer about this giant self-wrenching exertion, and then things actually do happen. Um, so yeah, I mean, I had to. So here's sort of the way it. Here's kind of the way it works with me, which is that I'll actually have to do something, like get in shape or improve my backhand or get good at some kind of standardized test or something. And at first I'll start it, and at that point that's the hardest step. And then what happens is do a little more, and then I start to really get into it, and then my entire life becomes about it, right?
Hmm.
And that's sort of what you want it to be, because when it becomes when it becomes about your identity, when that activity becomes just a reflection of who you are rather than something that you have to do as a kind of ad hoc add-on to your identity, when it just becomes who you are and it's just about you naturally expressing yourself, then it'll get done. But if it's just you making this kind of gut-wrenching effort, like in other words, if it
A
if
willpower, right?
yeah, if you value, like like if the thing you're about is eating sprouts as opposed to cupcakes, then yeah, like a certain kind of effort is involved in not eating the cupcake, but it's a different thing. Uh, but if you're still somebody who wants to eat the cupcake and you just don't, I mean, how long is that going to last, right? It won't, right?
I
So,
understand what you're saying there.
so these are kind of, I mean, it seems like, I mean, so the book, again, I mean, you're probably familiar with these ideas. You've probably been reading self-help books a lot, but most of us haven't. So I don't know. It doesn't sound like such a bad book.
No, it's not.
Yeah.
It's not a bad book at all. When I said that you asked me if I
Right.
made discoveries in it, and from the summary, no. Um, also, and I don't mean to be snooty about
No,
it, but
be snooty. I like snooty. I like.
she's as far as the habits, and she's not a scientist, she's not a behavioralist, she's not a she was a law clerk for, she's quite an accomplished woman, but so she was, a clerk to one of the Supreme Court justices.
Jesus, really?
So right. So and she qualifies her work at the introduction, which is not in the summary book, but I told you I research before I
Right.
record. So in her introduction, she did an audio. She recorded the audio herself, her own book.
Uh huh.
full version. So her qualifications are that she's a great observer of people and that she has good habits and is successful. So, that right away kind of put me off. And then the author of the summary said that she was kind of sanctimonious. Oh, I get up early and and it, wasn't inviting to the reader in that way.
Wait, wait. So the author of the summary said that she, the author of the summary, would get up early, and
No, the author of the summary said that
Gretchen Rubin was
Gretchen
sanctimonious.
Rubin was he didn't use that word, but
Okay.
somewhat sanctimonious. He tried to qualify it. It might be off-putting to the normal average person who doesn't live this super perfect life. Yeah,
Well, okay, but okay. So devil's advocate here. I mean, the thing is that the kind of person getting a clerkship with a Supreme Court judge, right? Well, that's not what that is about. That is about having really, really, really good habits, right? I mean,
yeah,
there's an element of intelligence, a little. There's an element, but it's the difference between those people and other people is that those people really have good habits. I mean, they really.
yes,
I mean, they are disciplined. I mean,
yes.
they are. So, I mean, they may be wretched human beings. In fact, I know one who is a wretched human being. Truly is. Truly a piece of dog shit, actually. But I mean, the thing is that they are. I mean, that's what it's about. I mean, it's sort of like getting through West Point or something, but worse. But so, I mean, she does have that. So she would know something about, you know, um,
Yes, her personal experience, yes.
putting down the fork after, burrito number five or something. I mean, I guess.
Right. She gets up early. She doesn't eat sugar. She sleeps. You know, she gets lots of sleep, and she's kind of got the habit. Um,
But
so,
one thing about sugar, this is a
let's
minor
ask.
thing, which is that the other day I woke up, right, and I was all jazzed to, do another podcast. Then I had because I usually don't have sugar because I'm so goddamn poor. I actually can't afford it. I mean, I like the government like drops off some oats every month in front of my door, and anyway, but I was able to like buy.
Wandering through the apartment in the basement of a tenement,
Yeah, they
right?
do. It's like, and it's addressed to like tenant, like general delivery. Like I don't even. And then it says like, dear citizen, you have these oats must
Have
last you
some
for.
cheese.
Well, then not even cheese. I would like cheese, and you think I'm joking anyway. But so then I made some money from one of my books, and so I bought some sugar. This is how bad it's gotten. I'm not kidding. You think I'm joking? Anyway, but so I put this sugar in my oats, which I just eat cold, right? And and it did make me feel really logy. I had no drive after eating all these oats. So because I put all the sugar on them, so that's kind of something. She's sort of onto something there.
Yeah, I've noticed that.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to go off on another topic.
No, go
I,
off. Yeah.
I almost hate to admit this to
No.
an author such as yourself, but um, I am halfway finished, and then it went in the drawer. I'm writing a book about dieting. I
Oh
mean,
wow.
there's not enough of those, right? And so I'm not an expert. I'm not a nutritionist, so
Yeah, those statements about Gretchen Rubin that you made did seem a little bit sort of projective. Like, what do you care if she has a degree in behaviorology? I mean, like,
I know that's what
what's
I
it to
said.
you?
No, that's why I said maybe I
Um,
prefaced it with saying maybe I'm being snooty. But if it is about changing behaviors, I don't know.
no, no, no,
And
no, no. Come on, say
I'm
it.
writing a diet book without being a nutritionist, but I've observed and experienced it all my life too. But, I don't come off as, I don't, the whole diet
Look,
book.
man, forget about this. All these this tyranny of qualifications. I mean, that's totally absurd. Look, I mean, look, you've existed. You're not retarded, and you've been on diets. Okay, you're qualified. Now, tell me about this book.
Oh gosh, it is, and I wrote it. Oh God, that's the reason it's in the drawer. And my colleague was, and my colleague's a PhD as well too, but and my friend, and she's don't be ashamed because I'm writing it. I'm down writing. What's the word I'm looking for? I'm being silly now. What? when you talk down to people, I'm writing down. Uh,
Okay.
I'm putting it in a lingo and genre for like the ebook world, the really kind of bad, sleazy ebook world.
Well,
Like,
what are you telling
but
me here?
then
What you
it's
mean, like,
changed.
you mean for distribution at
Oh,
penitentiaries or something? Like, I don't get it.
oh no, I just thought I'm not being articulate tonight. I'm sorry,
No, no, no. No.
but
This is actually the most interesting part of the whole exchange. Actually,
okay.
I want to hear about the dieting
So,
thing.
and I'm going to write it, not use my real name because I do have some academic publications myself, right? You'd have to go back a few pages
That's
on,
fine.
on
Who cares?
Google to find them. But um, so, when I first retired and could spend time online that wasn't, work related, and realized all these ebooks are out there, and I'm going, oh my God, I could whip one of those up pretty quickly. Um, and also because, as I said, I'm a lifelong dieter. I'm always chubby my whole life, and all of a sudden, it's working for me. And I think it's because I'm not working and I can be home and prepare meals and but I don't know, something different happened, and it's kind of that I'm not um, I'm not I'm not over worried about my diet or checking my weight every day or weighing things or how many grams of this and that. It's kind of like
God.
I don't give
Well,
a shit
you know
this
what?
time. I'm
What comes
losing
to mind
weight.
is that so when you're finally at home and you don't have to sort of work. I mean, maybe you're kind of emotionally at peace in a way that you were not previously, and because I mean, weight gain has to do. I mean, yeah, there are medical conditions, but 99% of the time it has to do basically with anxiety about your work or your people not being all that happy doing what they're doing.
Could be lots of things, and so I was trying to. I actually was inspired by this. I'm going, oh my God, it's working this time. Oh my, like you said, changing habits in little chunks, little pieces seems to be working this time. For one thing, I've been able to change my eating, you know, habits and my eating plan. I've never like stayed on a diet for however it's been almost a year. That to me that's amazing. And I've hit and I've lost weight past where I always got stuck before. So I was inspired to write the book. And when I first started writing it, I wrote it um, in a colloquial genre that wasn't me at all. I was going to call it 25 diet hacks or something, trying to use this lingo that my
Oh,
students use.
oh
And
God. Okay.
so, hashtag, my own experience, not I'm not a pro, just a bunch of crap like that. So, but I put it away, and the longer that, and because of lifetime of eating low carb, I do know all about it. But I don't want to present. I don't. I'm too lazy to do the research, and I don't want to use
Well,
citations.
then don't do that. No, fuck the citations. Yeah, don't. I'm sorry. Don't do research or citations, man. That's
Well,
negative.
but see, and I guess that comes back to me looking for experts. I would give credence to experts. I don't. Do you notice I call you Dr. K and I
Yeah,
don't
I do notice that.
John or
Yeah,
John Michael?
right.
I have a deep and abiding respect for what you've done and what you've earned. I have friends that I still call Dr. Trejo, and she's going, God, when are you going to call me Mary? You make me feel so old. But she was a really influential professor to me, and we're contemporaries. I went back to school for my master's late in life, so. But and I'll always call you Dr.
Oh
K.
well, thank you. But here's the thing, which is that look, I mean, there are a lot of diet books out there, but I think what is far more valuable than a diet book is an authentic book, right? So like the things you're saying about dieting might or might not be, great. They're probably fine, but see, the thing is that if you write a diet book and it's actually an authentic expression of yourself, if it's actually something that's real in the sense that it comes from you, that is far more valuable. I mean, anything that look. One thing is that even though I have a lot of contempt for a lot of human beings, one thing that is true is that if somebody actually manages to be real in writing, if they actually manage to, or in speech for that matter, but if they actually manage to say something that is real, That is enormously valuable. Okay, so I recently read a book because I certainly was a huge reader, and I'm still kind of a big reader, although I have to stop because it's not a sort of business thing to do. But so there was this book called How to Commit a Crime and Get Away with It. Right? It's on Kindle, and and the thing is, this book
Unfortunately.
really was written by some guy in the ghetto. I mean, it's really clear. This guy is not joking, right? I mean, but I mean, but the thing is, it's I mean, this was not some publicity stunt. This thing was. I actually tried to get in touch with the guy, but I couldn't because he did anonymize himself because I wanted him on the podcast.
Yeah.
And this thing, but the thing is that now this guy probably has like a fifth grade education. He is smart. You can tell he's smart, right? But the thing is, and the other thing is that because like I've self-published on through Amazon, and you can tell when it's really self-published because there are these kind of standard like the cover design, like you could tell from the cover design if it's one of these like Amazon templates that they give you, and his was self-published. It was not published by Random House. But the thing is, it was real. I mean, it was really real. Just unalloyedly, he did not hit a single false. Well, there was one time he hit a false note in there. He talked about how he owned like stock in Fortune or something and was a billionaire. That was a little weird. But apart from that, it was really real. And when people write things that are real, I mean that's it's not as common as you might think, and that's valuable. And if the diet book, um, if it's real, I mean if it's a book about you and what you've done, that's more valuable than just some book that says eat 5 sprouts and then 2 legs of lamb or whatever, right? So that's the thing, right?
Well, so, but I, I never, again, that book, just like I said with the voice acting, I have to finish it because I said I would do it. And you're not going to like what I'm going to say,
Say
but
it, say it.
I didn't do it. I don't expect it to sell one single copy. I just want to publish it because I said I would.
Well, what's the problem? So, tell me about the nature of the book. Just tell me the general idea.
Oh, all right. So the title and the contents have changed, and my attitude towards it have changed. At first, I was just
Okay.
going to throwaway knockoff and pretend I was, some, um, urban, I don't know. I was going to be all fakey.
Okay.
So what you say about authenticity kind of rings a bell, but then, the more that that I that this plan has been working for me, the more excited I am about it. And so I forgot the question. It gets late at night.
Uh, no, no. I
So
think it's just asking you sort of like tell me about this.
so the diet book, the title has changed. Instead of 25 hacks to change whatever,
Oh
to
yeah, that's
change
terrible.
your life or whatever. It's low carb, real life is the title. Then with several subtitles because I understand I have to hit keywords for SEO and stuff. But low carb, real life because all of a sudden that's what I'm doing, and it's the subheading is the Easy Does It diet.
Oh no, this is good. This actually
Yeah.
sounds like it's going to make a lot of money. So would you mind reading a little bit from it? I want to hear what it sounds like. Like, I
Oh.
know what you're thinking. Well, why do I need to read another diet book? I've read just about every diet book that's out there, and heck, I'm still a bloated piece of hog flesh. Nobody will even look at me.
It kind
Boy,
of sounds like that. Okay, I haven't
well, good
rewritten the
news.
preface
I'm
because I
not going
haven't
to give you any
said it
easy
enough.
answers, but if you read this book and do what I tell you, the pounds will start to come off. Just a little at first, then more and more later, until you're so goddamn skinny, you just dry up and blow away. And your entire wretched existence is just forgotten like the abomination that it is. Wow, that's really cold. You no,
Let me get this.
go ahead. All right,
Uh,
you should get
I think it
Wilford
sounds
Wilford
a lot
Brimley.
like that.
Okay.
I haven't redone the. So what I do is because changing habits, my eating habit, the food I love rich sauces and I like fancy food and so I was just making. I invented a lot of recipes. I thought I invented them. I was so proud of myself because I'd never gone online and looked.
Uh,
And so I wrote that in the book, going, "Oh, I guess I didn't it." Let's see, brainstorming ebook, working title, low carb diet hacks. Dirty little secrets for low carb living.
This is good.
Tips and
This is good.
tricks
This
to
is good.
satisfy cravings while you keep losing weight.
These are hot button phrases. I mean,
That's it's just a brainstorm so far. And I told you I've changed it now, I guess. But
whatever.
hashtag I am not a nutritionist. Hashtag this is what works for me.
Oh, okay, but
Uh,
when can you start read the actual book? I mean,
okay,
I want to hear some
low
sentences.
carb real life. The Little Book of Low Carb Living, the Easy Does It Diet.
Okay, that's
Uh,
not a sentence.
I just noticed something as I
Yes.
was giving myself a big serving of Breyer's
Oh,
Carb Smart ice cream. It said on the carton for use as part of a carbohydrate conscious diet. I like that. That's what we are, not dieters, but aware, conscious of the carbohydrates we consume. And lo and behold, the results of that relatively painless new awareness, consciousness, is weight loss.
that's
Um,
pretty good. Wait, but are there carbs in ice cream anyway? I mean, oh, I guess the sugar is carbs.
yeah, and milk.
Oh, that carb. Okay,
So I
pretty
guess
good. I like this. Keep going. This is good.
well, I guess this is new. This is new.
This is
This
good. This is good shit.
must have written this down. I feel the reason for my success with low carb this time around is this paradigm shift in thinking. Instead of getting all wound tied about how many carbs I'm eating and if I'm in ketosis and oh no, I blew it today. Nope, instead of that mindset, I just take it as a daily thing. I'm aware of what foods have lots of carbs and which foods don't. I make adjustments in recipes in order to eat the foods I crave, like the ice cream. It's
Right.
fantastic, but I don't count every carb and obsess like I used to. I mean, think of it. The average person consumes 300, that's 300 grams of carbs a day. We, on the other hand, even on what I used to call a bad day, eat 50. Okay, a really bad day, 100 grams of carbs? Come on. Like I said, it's a daily thing, and those days of drastically lower carb consumption compared to the daily recommended diet levels really add, or should I say subtract, up. Take it easy. Easy does it, and voila, weight loss.
All right. So look, this is all fine. So what's the problem? I mean, do you have enough pages? I mean, how many pages do you have?
I don't know, it's just all kind of garbage at this point.
What do you mean
I
it's all?
thought
No,
it
that
was,
was pretty good. I mean,
I mean, I must have rewritten written that recently.
don't be a weirdo. I mean, no. I mean, look, how many pages of coherent prose do you have? I mean, that was fine.
Oh, okay. Uh, Dirty little secret number one. Oh, so I have dirty little secrets and tips and tricks in there.
Right. So
Uh,
what's the problem? So just go ahead and publish it. Just go on
oh,
Kindle and let her rip.
well, it's kind of a mess. I need to.
Tidy it up a little bit.
Oh man, it's a mess. And then some recipes I invented, and then I figured I would narrate it. Oh, this ebook is okay. My goal in writing this book is to share some of the best tips and tricks I've found that can make a low carb eating plan delicious and easy to stick with. It's important that you do your research and, of course, check with your physician, blah, blah, blah. This ebook is not intended to be a scholarly work on the science of low carb eating plans. I expect the reader has already taken the necessary steps.
Actually, why don't you email me right now just one little paragraph from it, and I'll do a little narration of it. Okay. I'd like to try my hand at narrating it just a little bit.
Oh, all right.
Yeah.
Here's my what this book is. It's a list. Is a
Just
list okay?
I don't know. Just no. Well, just the part you gave me. Just the part you just read, and I'll see if I can narrate it. Just do
Okay.
that right now.
You're a good narrator.
Well, we'll see. We'll see.
Oh, my name is Norma Jean, and I'm a serial
So,
diet.
oh,
Okay.
okay. Well, that
All right.
I was interested until you said dieter, but
Okay. I don't know. Hush.
it's like I'm Norma Jean. I'm a
Copy.
serial killer and a serial dieter.
I
Well,
did. That's when this was my first part of the draft. I will probably cut that out. And I read you the new part. Okay, your email. Where are you?
uh,
Oh,
that's
can I
okay.
put it on Skype?
Yeah, I guess you could put it on Skype. Yeah.
Uh,
Wait, actually, no. Actually, email it. Email it. It's gonna get a little
add,
complicated.
send file. I can do it right here. Send files. Never done this. My computer's really slow. Send files to you right now.
Okay, are you
No,
sending them to my email or to my?
I'm sending it on Skype. I guess it'll go to your email,
Uh,
but it's just going round and round right now.
oh
Sorry.
yeah, that's okay. Okay, this is fun.
Yeah, This happened to me earlier today this evening. My computer's all whack. It doesn't like Skype being up. Okay, it's not going to work. So, oh, here it comes. Uh, uh, all I can do is send my whole ebook file because I didn't. It's just.
You might as well. I can take a look at it. I mean,
Oh, it's
this is
really a mess,
no, no.
Doctor.
Relax, relax, relax. So
All
what?
right, I am relaxing a lot more. Where did I put it? I put it in. It's right on my desktop.
Yeah, I'm just sort
Oh,
of trying to figure out what the nature of the. I mean, what you read was perfectly good. I guess the question is, do you believe in the concept? Does the book have a concept? Is there a unifying concept?
mm. And I'm trying to unify it. I'm trying to figure. See, I couldn't when I was putting together those samples for you. I had the same computer problem. Come on.
That's all right. It's all right. Take your time. Take your time. I can always edit out the this part.
Okay,
This
here's the whole my ebook file. Oh my
this is
gosh.
good. Well, this is good. I mean, no, now I'm actually gonna.
I think there
I'm.
might be an outline in
What
it.
I would suggest is, I mean, you can always see the beauty of Kindle Direct Publishing, right? Oh, here
Mm.
we go. Norma sent you files. All right. The beauty of Kindle Direct Publishing, right? Although I'm not really sure how to get them. You did send them. That's true. Oh, wait, here we go. Oh yeah, here we go. Yeah, okay. Accept. All right. The beauty of Kindle, so you can publish it under a pseudonym, and then just sort of tweak it. You know,
Yeah.
but you're right. I mean, you're right. You don't want to. Let's see here. All right, I'll just edit out all of these pauses here. Wow, this is really neat.
It's a mess. It's just brainstorming. I do have an outline. I don't know if it's on there.
That's okay. I think that this is quite enough. I mean, let's. I'm just looking for the darn thing. Uh,
I'm trying to be cutesy, like with my Italian food and my Mexican food and my Chinese food recipes. Um, I don't know. I named my Mexican food the Three Amigos, things like that. I don't know. Tips and tricks. Oh.
oh,
But
here
yeah,
we go.
the
Okay.
overriding idea, I guess, is just to not stress and take it easy. Kind of the small changes.
Okay. So let's see here. So okay. Eat yourself slim. 101 dirty little diet secrets for low carb eating. Low carb, real life. Low carb, real life. The little book of low carb living. The Easy Does It diet. The Easy Does It diet. I just noticed something as I was getting myself a big serving of Breyer's Carb Smart ice cream. Non dairy dessert is what Breyer's calls it. It said in the carton, for use as part of a carbohydrate diet. Well, for use as part of a carbohydrate conscious diet. I like that. That's what we are. Not dieters, but aware, conscious of the carbohydrates we consume. And lo and behold, the results of that relatively painless. All right, all right. Well, anyway, you get the idea. I think this is okay. I mean, I would like to. I mean, I guess to the if I were to become interested in this, it would have to be more about you and less about like the mechanics of dieting. But no, is this stuff kind of accurate? Well, actually, wait, this is actually pretty good. Let's see here. Cream of tartar, low or sugar-free ketchup, little
Oh,
smokies. What the hell are those? Yeah.
there. That's the other thing why I was so worried about, because it's not particularly healthy, but there's junk to eat to satisfy your cravings, so you don't.
Uh,
And they have no. They are low carb processed food. Hell of a lot of cheese. They even have fried cheese.
really? And that. Well, I guess here's the question I would ask you, which is that, look, is this what are you trying to do in this book? Is this a book for dieters, or is it a book for people who want to be amused by you, or what's the concept? Like,
Um, a book for, interestingly enough, to change your habits. A book to change your eating habits. It's a book for dieters, not to be amused by me. I'm not funny. You're funny.
oh, thanks.
I've I am not funny. I came to terms with that years ago. I
Look,
like to surround myself with funny people
most
and laugh.
most people who are not funny don't admit that they're not funny.
Oh, yeah, I'm not funny. I know when I used to teach speech, and I'd be teaching. my students attention getters, grab your
Right.
audience right away, and ways to do that. And one is
Jesus.
humor, but I said, make sure you're funny because, my students all laughed at me because I'm so not funny. So I gave examples of my not funniness.
Okay, you're probably kind of funny. I mean, yeah. Okay. Well. Okay. So I don't know. This book looks fine. I mean, just when I have writer's block, which I don't really, but the reason I don't is that I follow the following rule, which is just be straightforward. Like when in doubt, when you don't know what to say, just say it as simply
Just
as
say it.
possible. Just okay. So look. So what is the
Well, you mentioned,
uh
coming from a personal standpoint, and
yeah.
I think my old introduction must be farther down in there somewhere. And it,
Oh,
it
this is
was
good.
Confessions of a Serial Dieter.
Oh, I like this. Oh yeah, here we go. My my name is Norma Jean, and I'm a My name is Norma Jean, and I'm a serial dieter. There, I said it. My dirty little secret is out. But this time I really figured it out. Okay. As I'm writing this introduction, I'm snacking on low carb pizza. Is that really true? You were eating
Yeah.
while writing?
Yeah.
Wow,
I eat all the time.
that is a wow, okay.
It's
Uh,
fried cheese.
golly, that's yeah. I okay, I see.
But this really, really, really rough, rough, rough first draft. Can't believe I sent it to you.
no, no, it's fine. I mean, no, I think there's plenty of material here. Just kind of get it out there. This looks fine. Just
Yeah, for
publish a
what
short
it
thing.
is.
What's the big deal? Just make it a little bit coherent. Just slap a little paint on it, and and then publish it and narrate it. I mean, I wrote that Chomsky thing. I mean, which is now an audio book, an ACX book. I mean, I wrote that and then turned it into an audiobook in one day, in a couple of hours. Um,
Oh,
just you can do this. This is fine. This looks like
I
valuable
don't know
material.
why it's taking me so long. Taking pictures, cooking the recipes, writing them down. Ooh, and
Well,
then,
when books take a long time, it's because the author doesn't really believe in them. That's the problem.
is it?
Yeah.
And every time that I do reopen it, I just end up, instead of progressing, I just end up rewriting something, so I don't go forward. I don't, you can see it's a mess. I do have a pretty coherent outline. I haven't looked at it in a long time. But yeah, and then really long passages, because I get hung up in wanting to be precise in the research. So I did do some research. I guess I was doing the drive-by uh, for people who work, and you do have to eat at a drive-through. So, you know, so I have all the nutritional analyses from Taco Bell and Starbucks, and just went on and on.
Let me ask you a question. If you had to identify one single thing that is holding you up, one single thing that is making you drag your feet on this project, what would it be?
I guess I lost interest. I don't
You
what
did? You mean you're no longer interested in dieting?
know. Maybe for a while. Um, this is funny, but one of my old teacher friends, or she's principal, but she wrote on Facebook, I'm doing it again. I'm going back on my low carb, and but I'm dying for tortillas. I live on the border. Everybody eats
Uh huh.
tortillas. Anybody got any suggestions? And oh man, I just went wild with my, oh yeah, use with recipes, and I've been just barraging her with them, texting with pictures and recipes. Oh, and you can eat this cake that I made that has no flour, and so my interest is rekindled because it is pretty cool that you can. It's not healthy, but then I weigh, well, it's also not healthy carrying extra weight, so who cares? So I'm sorry, I'm rambling.
No, that's okay. I mean, we're probably gonna have to wrap up. I'm just gonna make a
Yeah.
couple of uh, semi-coherent points, which is okay. I mean, what I've found when I've had to change my habits, I when I succeeded in changing my habits, it's because I had to change what I valued, right? Like if I didn't change what it is that I valued, and I just sort of tried to change my habits, it didn't work. Um, so for me, unless I'm kind of on a mission, and it cannot just be a mission to lose weight or to do some specific thing. It has to be kind of, I have to like if I'm ever going to make a real change to myself, I have to see it as part of a kind of larger mission. So um, and when that and if it, then when that happens, I can things that were previously just anathema to me become things that I'm almost compelled to do. Like so I've certainly I will go through periods when I'm really out of shape, right? And then I decide that, well, what I really value is being in shape, and then I can't stay away from the gym.
Hmm.
And I there was a time when I was really fat, and I really lost it, and lost it in a pretty sane way too. But it involved a similar kind of transfiguration of my internal values. But I mean, if I try, but the thing is that if I keep the same values and just try to modify the behavior, this is just me, but I find that it's not so successful. So like if I try to, if I'm like, okay, well, I really like eating is what's important to me, but I'm eating the wrong things. If I try to go about it that way, I'm not going to have too much success. Um, so that's my personal experience. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I
I
don't know.
understand what you're
Yeah.
saying. I do.
In other words, like somebody who's okay, so somebody who's eating like deep dish pizzas all the time, right? If you then say, okay, don't eat those, but you can eat these like little sausages, like that seems like it's sort of like telling a heroin addict, take Vicodin instead, right? It's too close, right?
Well, and that's one of the reasons I'm reticent about my book. That it's not particularly healthy. Although I've got to say, I had lab work done and everything's better.
Oh, it is.
Yes, I guess it's just in moderation. And I knew I was going to take out the fried cheese pizza, but I did eat it. And I did eat those little sausages rather than eat a bunch of bread or cake or I don't know. So,
Okay.
but
Well,
yeah, it's hard to advocate an unhealthy diet.
well, Norma, this has been good. This has been good. Now I think I have to go because I actually have work to do. Uh,
Oh my
and
God.
But I'm gonna go ahead and stop recording. Okay, actually, hold the line. Okay, so over and out. Buy Norma's books. Buy my books. You're great. Okay, stay on the line, Norma.